One of the things that I like about this format of videos is that this can be more of a conversation, a back and forth, as opposed to just like a one-way flow of information. Um, and so my last video, I think that maybe I was coming off a little bit high-strung or like giving people anxiety just watching it. So I want to say I hear you. That's not my intention with my videos. Okay. First up, as my first excuse number one. It's hard to talk to a camera. It's like I've been doing YouTube for a lot of time, and it's still scary to me. And doing these like longer take videos is intimidating, like super intimidating. But like I know in my conversations with people, like in the day to day, I frequently hear people say like, "Oh, you're really easy to talk to," and like, I can make people that I just met laugh and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that over time, in front of the camera, I can be more comfortable. I can converse more in the way that I normally do. But, when I press record, my mind blanks and I still get super nervous. That's just how it is. Okay. So sometimes that comes across as, like maybe too much energy. And it's also hard because when you're speaking, you're trying to keep kind of keep track of what you're saying, but also like where you want it to go, because to be cautious of how long you take to explain your points. And it's like a muscle, right? Like it's like public speaking. You have to like practice it to get good at it. But I can recognize that I do have to be cautious of that. So this is me trying to reflect on that and just take a video where I give you a calm, non-rushed version of what my situation is, okay? So that you don't have to stress, you don't have to worry. Look, I wrote points down so that I could like cover the things and I don't have to get all stressed. Okay. First up, I want to point out that this is really important to understanding, my thoughts. $1 from Google is equal to $1 from the flower sales, from my point of view. They're both money coming into my farm, my business. So it may be hard sometimes to see like why are you not selling stuff? For the record, I am selling tulips now. I went and as soon as I released that other video, everyone was like, "Go sell your tulips." I was like, I'll sell some tulips. I'll start. I was just scared. I'm scared of like people not liking what I do. So I've already made $180 from the flower stand, and I've already made almost exactly the same amount on Google. This is, I think, the 14th video that I've made on this channel, and I only recently got monetized. I was able to monetize after my first video, pretty much. I think maybe the second one was when I clicked over for watch time or something. But then there's just clearing some stuff up with AdSense that took a little bit of time, so I didn't want to apply until I knew that I was in the clear. And now that I can like advertise on the videos, I've already made like, it's kind of like if you average it out to like the 28 days, it's kind of in like the 350, 400 range, I think. So like that may not sound like a lot of money, 350, 400 Canadian dollars. That's like the very start. And I've already seen a YouTube channel go through all of these different steps, and it's like if it's like going through school and then it graduates and it like gets the job and it's like yay. Then I'm kind of like jumping into like the high school years at that level of money. Like I'm right on the verge of being able to actually make my living off of YouTube again, which is crazy. It still has to like grow a lot, but I think of it as like, how many times do you have to go over the horizon, which is just like, how many times do you have to like logarithmically go up? So like, how many times do you have to 10 times, and if I'm making $3,500 a month or something off of YouTube, then like there is no, I'm able to like afford to live here, no problem. Because like that's on top of the money that's going to be coming in from the farm. And like there's lots of months in the past where like the farm is making like 8 to 10,000 in gross in a month, and like I think I can do that again, you know, certainly in the ballpark. So when you start adding up the numbers, it's like if I can get a significant amount of income in from YouTube, there's like no problem that I'll be able to figure stuff out. And then, you know, once like I have the security of being like knowing that if I put out a bit more content, then I can make a little bit more revenue, and there's like that security in that, then I can look at getting an employee, which is like one of the things that I'm trying to do, is like scale up to the point where I can hire somebody to give me assistance on the farm. So, you know, like that would allow me to be a person and have a social life, and get everything done, keep the farm on schedule, make videos, you know, make a living, pay my bills. So to me, I'm already like, whoa, I am so close already. I'm like, you know, it's like the firing pistol goes off and then you just like take a step and they're like, woo, there's the finish line. Obviously I'm not there yet, but it just, now it feels possible, right? Like I know that I can get there. I like 100% know. And I'm really excited about this format of videos, even though it's scary to film, because they are scary to film, really, you know. It's just going to be so interesting, I think. I think it's going to make for really interesting content. Like, so one time we did this like documentary for like a telecommunications company that kind of sponsors you know, like local productions through this like grant system, and put in a video and won it. So we won this $20,000 grant to make this video. And it was like really interesting talking to TV people as opposed to like YouTube people, because one of the things that I realized is that there's an element of timing for YouTube where it's kind of like news. You know, like news is more important in the current than it is like 10 days old, right? Once it's like 10 days old, are you going to go back and read a newspaper from 2 weeks ago? Probably not. YouTube has like some similar aspects to that. And so by making videos where I'm like not doing like all this editing and stuff, it's like current. it's like in the moment. And to me, like that is this, like as a creator, it's like a whole other opportunity to find interesting ways to tell stories and to like show the world who I am, and you know, whatever it is, right? Okay, so that was kind of me just saying that YouTube, I'm like really excited about YouTube, and it has me like really not stressed about the future. Like I am like in the short term, I'm like, I got so much to do, but like I'm always gonna have so much to do. I don't mind that. I like having things to do, and the farm doesn't seem overwhelming to me. Like it does in the sense that like I can't get 5 greenhouses up all at once with one person and plant hundreds of rose bushes and build new areas of the farm like I'm trying to, right? But I'm not feeling like personally defeated by the fact that like obviously I know that I can't do that. I'm just like not letting myself rest until I get all of that stuff done, because I know once I have all that, like once I build this final vision of the farm, then I can have employees and have them work efficiently, and I can pay people and actually, you know, get my worth out of it. make money off of it. Because like if I pay someone to come here and then it's like, oh, you have to like do this here and like walk across the farm and like it's all inefficient, then like I'm just like throwing money away. But if I make the system efficient, which like I know how to do now, and I'm like really close, and I have basically almost all the materials I need to put that vision in place. Once I get that, I'm good. Okay, here's one. I'm gonna like ruffle some feathers with this one. This one is this one's gonna make some of you mad. And okay, first up, I like tulips, but tulips are a little bit of a hard sell. So I've got a lot of tulips here, and people are like, why aren't you picking your tulips? I am picking my tulips. Okay, I've got my tulips out for sale now. But like I've gone to markets before with tulips, and they do okay, but they don't grab people's attention as much as you might think they do. Like a lot of people don't know that tulips can look as good as a double tulip can. Like they're amazing. They're beautiful. They're like so big and colorful and early, and they just like make the farm look amazing. They look great inside. But when people buy them, they're like a ball. They're curled up, and they're not really as impactful to people at the farmers market. So when people need them, like for Mother's Day, people are like, give me those tulips. This is perfect. But if they don't need them, there's a lot of people who like walk by them, and they're just not super exciting, but they are really expensive from my perspective to grow compared to a lot of other flowers. I am going to remedy that. I have a plan for tulips. So this area right here is like where all my tulips are going to be, and I'm going to change the way that is a little bit. I'm just going to grow tulips in crates from now on, and I am going to wrap it in hardware cloth so that the voles can't get in, because I had entire crates that were destroyed by voles last year. But I have a bunch of beds over there. I'm not going to show you, because if I start walking around, then maybe I start, getting the crazy energy again. But not all of them are doubles. Probably about a half of them, I would say, are worth like transplanting into crates and continuing to grow here. Anything that's a single, or anything that I'm like, like I'm not going to grow any white tulips. There's no need. None of them look good enough. None of them would sell. Anything that I look at, because everything that, okay, so my biggest skill in the flowers is the fact that I've been selling flowers at farmers markets for like, this is going to be my 7th year, and the whole time that people are like buying stuff from me at my stand, the whole time that people are at my stand, every single customer basically that comes, I'm always like studying them to see what is grabbing their attention, and that's kind of trained my eye to see in flowers what will sell and what won't sell. And what I like and what sells isn't always the same. And what I don't like and what sells isn't always the same, or is sometimes the same. But, I've also seen those patterns, and so I can tell when there's something that I like that probably won't sell well, like dark colors, or sometimes like a white bouquet that I don't like, and I'm like, there's going to be somebody who wants this one. But there's like, I see the flowers and I see it in them. I see their traits in the fields, and like when I'm arranging bouquets as well. It's kind of like, sometimes I'm like better at seeing, like I'm like, my bouquets, when I'm putting stuff together, it's not so much like I've got this like final vision for a lot of them. Sometimes I do, because like right now I'm putting together like, a yellow, a red, and a like mixed yellow and orangey tulip, and it's like, that's the same bouquet that we've been making for years, and I know it sells and it looks great together. So like there's no thought to that, but a lot of times when I am putting together something more complicated, I'm not looking at the final vision. I'm like, this still doesn't look like it would sell to me. Like, it's still not looking like it's at that point where somebody would pay $20 for it. And that's like completely subjective, but I think that there's something to it. And I want to trust that sense of mine. And so all the tulips that I'm like, these aren't going to sell. I'm not going to grow them anymore. I'm just going to grow the stuff that I like. And I think that that's going to be a way to do tulips more profitably. I also think, like, I'm sitting right here and here's my tulips. I'm not going to stand up, but I'm going to flip my... And right over there, that is my walk-in cooler. So notice how they are nice and close. Right now, you can see them. They are right up there. So a bunch of those are, usable still, but like everything over here, the yellow ones, the white ones, they're no good. And then there's 2 beds over here. And those ones are almost all red ones in the one bed, and the other one has a bunch of usable stuff as well. So there's lots of tulips. But then, okay, here's part 2 of what I'm going to do with tulips, because I think that this is a fun idea. When they're growing in these crates, the roots go down into the ground, right? So it's not like I have to, like, they're still in the ground, they're still like getting access to moisture and like all that kind of stuff. But they're also still able to be like easily processed if I want to like dig them up. If a vole got into them and killed them, I can dump them all out and start again. Being in crates keeps it able to like stay organized and to maintain it. In those raised beds are like on the bottom, there's like hardware cloth under the ground. And so like you can't even like shovel the dirt because you hit the metal hardware cloth and the shovel won't go in anymore. So if you ever go to like dig up the beds, like what do you even do? You just like take it apart and like push the dirt aside by hand, the whole bed, as you like dig the bulbs out and toss them to the side, and then I don't know. I'm gonna have to do it all pretty soon, and I'll probably just do something similar to that. The point is, once you have stuff planted, you really can't do anything about that. It's there, and so I'm going to like just keep stuff going here, and like there's like the other year started planting out the bulbs that were like getting cut off the end, and like a bunch of them came back as tulips. They don't always have like a flower the next year. Sometimes it like they need a year to recover. But I'm some of you, I don't know if you're gonna get mad at me for this. I'm going to leave all my bulbs in place for the most part, and I'm gonna harvest my tulips with scissors, and I'm gonna sell them at the stand, and I'm gonna try to leave a leaf, if I can, on the bottom. Tulip bouquets, they get longer as they like sit. Like even after a day of like being in the stand, for the most part, you can tell that they've all like gotten longer. And so I'm gonna rely on that a little bit, and I'm going to try to give the plant like one leaf to put some energy down into the bulb again. And then the next year, if there's like plants that are putting up like bulbs that are putting up buds, then I can like harvest those. If they're big, I could, if it's small, I could just like leave it and be like, okay, like next year's your year. And I could start treating this like something to be like managed over time. And I can fill it back up with like the 30-cent, I think it's like some of the, maybe the yellow pomponette, maybe the sun lover are like in the low 30 cents, 35 cents a bulb. Some of them go up to like 60 cents a bulb. Like some of them go up more than that, but like that I bought in the past. and because like I lose so many to the voles over time, uh, it's like I'm not necessarily thinking that I won't have to keep like filling up the tulips, but like look at all those tulips. These tulips are all multiple years old, and I've got that many tulips. I got more tulips up than I do down here. So I think that there's some profitability in tulips for me by harvesting them, efficiently for like keeping energy in the plant, reusing the bulbs, and so like I'm not worried about like plants that are like blowing out this year. If the flowers blow out and I can't sell them, I should be able to sell them next year. Like I just want to have, what I really want is to get the tulips separated, the bulbs roughly separated, so that I'm only trying to collect for myself and the future in here the bulbs that I want to keep growing. So one of the things that I have to do pretty soon here is go and like make labels. Like everything from this point on the wood to this point is like yellow pomponette, save it. And then like these ones are Oxford Elite. These ones I can either put in landscaping or sell, And that's probably what I'll do is I'm going to try to sell blocks of the colors in like a block, just to like a gardening group. Be like, hey, do you want to come dig up 200 white tulips? $30 or $20 or something, just some money. And then you can have this big planting to put in your like landscaping. Like a lot of people, because the voles are in like this like farmy like area. Like I'm never gonna get rid of the voles because there's like orchard and stuff all around here. But in like the suburby areas, like there's not voles. They need kind of like the wild, fieldy areas to dig all their little tunnels. So they're really only kind of a problem like in these types of areas. So somebody could like plant a lot of tulips in another area of Kelowna, is what I'm trying to say, and they would survive. Whereas here they might, like all my tulips over time are going to get worse and worse, except in here, right? Okay, so I am selling my tulips. I am going to continue to try to get as many as I can in the cooler, but I do have other priorities too. Like right now, my priorities, I got my irrigation water turned on. So if you don't know, there's 2 different water lines that run to this property, which is very common in this area of farms. One of them is the house water, and then the other is an 1.5-inch supply line for my farm irrigation, which is also, it's the exact same as drinking water. It comes from the same like area, but like the city only opens it up when there's no like danger of it freezing. So I just had my lines turned on yesterday, and right now I've kind of like cracked the stuff. Like I have to kind of do this like leak test as I repressurize the system, and you have to like let it fill up slowly so that it doesn't like hammer the, and shatter stuff. But like I have to do that so that I can like plant my seedlings and be able to water them, and like there's lots of things on the farm that I'll need. Anyways, this is part of the process of listening to a rambly video. Okay, I'm gonna read my list here. I'm gonna get caught up. Okay, here's another one that's kind of gonna be crazy to hear. I do know what I'm doing, okay? This year I could get by selling with just the perennials that are growing on the farm and stuff that I direct seed. You know, I could I could not plant any of the seedlings that I have, and I could still have lots of flowers to sell with everything that's already growing on this farm, and with how easy it is to direct seed stuff. Uh, so I'm not worried about creating the quantities needed to fill the demand. It's easy to seed a bunch of beds with zinnias and cosmos and amaranth and like all this kind of stuff, and have large, colorful things just kind of come mid-July, late July, like depending on the weather and stuff. And like I've got peonies. I'm gonna have lots of peonies this year. Not as many as I will in the future, but there's still going to be a fair amount. And so, like, I want to get my seedlings planted because, I want to have a variety of stuff. I want to be like playing around with lots of different flowers in my bouquets. But like, I'm not okay. So being a farmer, like people are like, oh, you're a green thumb. Yes, but you're also kind of like a plant destroyer, like the ultimate destroyer of worlds, as you like send entire trays full of seedlings to their like demise, as you're like, I don't actually need you in the farm. I don't have space for you, or like, I don't have time for you. You're not that important. And they're just like, okay, well, that's it. And so like I know that I can like create the quantities that I need to fill the farm, even if I have to wait for like really huge, massive production levels until those annuals are ready. And it is kind of like you get a 2-week jump with seedlings as opposed to direct seeding. So there'd be like that 2-week lull, but like I just know, like in the spring, basically I could be getting all of the greenhouses ready and all the infrastructure ready, and then next year, like I have all the jobs done, and I don't have to like stress about doing other things. I can just do the farm, and I can be on the ball with the farm, and I can have all the advantages that I'm trying to build into the farm available to me. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is this winter, it wasn't just about the farm. Like people are like, oh, like do this, don't do that, do that. It's hard to understand, all my reasons for why I do things. But I did like a major reno on the house, and it's not like related to the farm really at all. It was more about so the house was weird. It had a bunch of like weird rooms, and it was like it's a weird layout. And there was one full bathroom, and there was like another bathroom that's like so tiny that you couldn't even open the door and like sit on the toilet. Like it's a small room. And then there's like all these bedrooms and like all this space. So it went from that into like I put 2 more bathrooms in, and I didn't do it. Contractors did it. So it's not like I was like, that's me swinging a hammer all winter. But like I was still doing lots. Like you're always like preparing areas, and I was like sorting through stuff and like going to the dump and like just like clearing space and doing the small bits of projects and like getting materials and like it was a lot of work, and but it was important. So family history, it's my mom is she's like still got really good mobility, but like sometimes like her hip or knee or like her foot bugs her, and so like I worry about if she ever like needed single floor living, that I could easily provide that for her because my sister passed away like almost 12 years ago now, my sister Holly, and that's my only sibling, and my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and so if my mom is also like on the other side of the country, and this is Canada, so that is very far away, different province and stuff, so like it'd be like hard for like healthcare, but I wanted to like just like have a place so that if she ever like was like, I need a space, so like now there's like this one bedroom with a bathroom, like a full big bathroom on it. It's nice, and it's kind of like an apartment. It has a door to the outside, and that's what's going to be the Airbnb suite. But it's like I didn't do that project so that I could have an Airbnb. The Airbnb is like good because like it'll provide income to the farm, but I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't about like just like having the ability to take in my mom if she ever needed to, and then also like she comes out for visits fairly frequently, so I wanted her to have like a comfortable space when she comes out so that she could spend like longer periods of time here and stuff, see her grandkids, right? So that was like part of that, and then because those processes were like there was the people there and stuff, it's like, well, let's just get the house finished, right? And so that's what happened. The house is like doing really well. It's like way more livable now. It's so cool. It's like cleaned up, it's fresh. I really like, it was already a nice house to live in, but it's just like more livable and easier to keep clean and less cluttered. Lots of good things. And that took up a lot of my energy this winter too. And like I built the wall in the seedling room. These aren't excuses. This is just like I've been busy. And next year I'm hoping that I can get all of the infrastructure built so that next year all I'm doing is like starting my Lysianthus, being able to like focus on that, being able to like focus on whatever it is that is important for like actually using the farm. Right now it's like the majority of my energy seems to go into setting the farm up to succeed, and then like I want to get to the point where I am succeeding with the farm, right? And that I can see that it's just on the horizon. It's just like one more time over the horizon, right? So I'm confident in that because like one way or another I can make it to next year. Like I'm there's not like, oh, am I gonna survive till next year? Yes. Okay, there's no drama on that, and I'm not trying to make drama for YouTube if like my videos are seeming a little bit frantic. That's just me being nervous. Okay. And like, okay, so I'm gonna say one more thing, and then I'm gonna try to just upload this video just exactly like this. I'm not even gonna edit it. So when I used to like edit those vlogs, I was like really into making them. They're really touched on me like creatively. They inspired me. I was looking around the farm and I'm seeing like shots that I can take and like ways that I can tell visual stories or like ways that I can make jokes, or it was such a fun thing to do, and it just like I had passion for it. I'd be like, I have to clean up the farm, work my butt off all day so that I can like take this drone shot and it'll look extra good, or like stuff that maybe you don't notice but you do see the end product, and you see like the commitment to the craft and like the care that would go into it, that like every single frame I wanted to be like the right frame for that moment, right? Very passionate about it. And like I said, there's like a immediacy that makes this kind of content really exciting for me. But like, What do I do when I lose my train of thought? When I'm doing a video like this? Oh no! Oh no! Maybe I just end the video right here and then I figure out what I was going to say and I say it the next time. Okay, bye.